So there's this guy named Dhar Mann, and I just really don't like him. He's a big fat meanie who likes to stereotype races, which is contradictory to the messages he attempts to spread, and he's also sexist. I feel more emotion watching paint dry than I do watching his videos. Today, I'll be bringing up a few minor points before I start to dig into the issue itself, which is Dhar Mann usually exploiting poverty for his own personal gain. But before we get into that, I kind of want to get into a little bit of a rant before we even actually start the video, and it's just about life lesson channels in general. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to spread positivity. In fact, in this day and age, I think it's something that needs to be done a little bit more, because social media has gone so far to fearmonger the general public just so that way they can get a couple extra cents and that's how they get richer. And things like, you know, the Starman trend meme where like they have like Superman on the bottom and like some guy or some girl doing something really nice. And I think that's just something that needs to be done a little bit more, restore some faith in humanity. However, the problem I have with Dhar Mann specifically is that he's trying to paint himself as a genuinely nice person, even though he has had a really shady and dogshit past. Like, for example, he's a weed dealer. I like channels like Samir Bhavanani or Tomorrow's Teachings because you can tell that they're self-aware. I mean, racist Karen hunts down Mexicans with like the Karen holding a 50 cal or something is probably the funniest thumbnail I've seen on YouTube still. I haven't seen anything that beats that yet. It's humorous, it's funny, and they're clearly parodying Dhar Mann, and most of all, most importantly, they're self-aware and they have a certain audience that they're trying to reach, and it's not an audience that they can easily exploit that is the future of humanity, you know. On the other hand, Dhar Mann is as funny as the demure trend. It gives me negative happiness. He tries to pander to his audience by calling himself the moral philosopher of YouTube according to the New York Times. He's playing a role that is harmful to the platform by using what most people acknowledge as a credible source to make himself seem like he's an actually good guy. Which, by the way, side note, I have more trust in a guy who says trust me bro than I do into New York Times and other news outlets like that. But anyways, his audience is clearly kids because they don't have adult jokes in it, whereas the audience of other channels are for adults. However, they still try to produce the same messages in the same ways. Do you see where I'm going with this? In a sense, Dhar Mann is kind of spreading the wrong messages to kids who are more susceptible to taking in these messages as real things, and they actually expect these things in the real world, causing either self-fulfilling prophecies or straight-up stereotypes, which will then later feed into discrimination and all that other stuff and prejudice. But anyways, Dhar Mann is feeding into these stereotypes, and I just want to call him out because I want clout, and also because I want to point these things out for fun, and I also want to make the general public aware of these things. And again, this is all just pure speculation. I don't really have any real evidence about all of this other than analysis on his videos. Also, whoever is watching this, keep in mind I won't turn on monetization for a while, mainly because I want to reach a big subscriber count before I can make it an actual job. It tells me that people enjoy my content and they want to watch it more. I want people to just enjoy my content while they still can before I turn on ads and remind people YouTube is just a job. So just enjoy watching my content ad-free for now. I won't really grow that much anytime soon, so just you'll have fun watching my content ad-free for a while. I'm not going to turn on monetization till like at least 500k, maybe like 1 million or so. I'm not really sure. But big subscriber count tells me that people enjoy my content. So that's when I'm going to turn on ads. But for now, just enjoy it while it lasts. So with that being said, let's begin. Yeah, I just want to point this out again. I'm flogging a dead horse that Dhar Mann is sexist. I've been going full Polly want a cracker ever since I realized that he was kind of being sexist, but he's just been stereotyping women at this point. First, I want to point out that he was kind of sexist for making a lot of women gold diggers. Damn near 95% of the gold digging videos were women being gold diggers, which by the way, that statistic has gone up because he's uploaded more videos on gold digging and he's made women a lot the subject and like, you know, the gold digger. Then I wanted to point out how he thinks women should be lobotomized bimbos that should be trophy wives for women. By the way, continuing this point, I don't remember if I called this out or not, but in this video right here, Dhar Mann never talks about how women shouldn't be trophy wives, but only talks about how you should follow your dreams and crap. Which, side rant for the side rant, he never mentions in that video you shouldn't think of women as trophies for you to collect like P. Diddy collecting felonies, but he kind of just overlooks that entire thing to the point where he seems like he's normalizing it. For example, in the video I was making fun of in one of my previous uploads, please go check it out, he shows a woman falling for a man because the man is smart. Another example I want to bring up for this point is basically the entirety of the video that I was talking about a few seconds ago, called Strict Mom Forces Girl to Marry Rich, which, side note to the side rant, you have pretty bad grammar, Dhar Mann. You're a multi-millionaire, act like one at least. But anyways, going back to the side rant for the side rant, we can see that Dhar Mann is normalizing girls going after high-value males. And that is a traditional alpha male thing to think. And he's probably, like, judging from this fact, he's probably like an alpha male guy himself. I'm not really sure. And combined with the fact that Dhar Mann follows Aiden Ross on Instagram, which I'm gonna remind everyone that Dhar Mann is probably a fan of Aiden Ross, or at least wants to collab with him. An alpha male who is an alpha male YouTuber who collabed with Andrew Tate and was one of Andrew Tate's goons at one point, like one of his croonies. I have reason to believe that Dhar Mann just kind of believes in all the alpha male beliefs that women are born with value, men create it type of crap. And honestly, it's kind of sickening that this guy who believes in all the dribble that the alpha male community spits out is the internet's quote-unquote moral philosopher. He's trying to put in the seed in the back of everyone's mind that women always go for high-value males and that, you know, they're always looking for people just because they don't want to deteriorate in value or whatever crap that the alpha male community spits out, which kind of builds into why I think that Dhar Mann is sexist. Yeah, let's just put the fact that Dhar Mann features SS Sniper Wolf aside for a second, which is kind of fucked up on its own, but people don't need another parrot repeating meaningless gobbledygook. Sniper Wolf, along with the other criminal stuff she did, clickbaits these types of thumbnails to children, so Dhar Mann brought on someone who clickbaits softcore porn to kids. He brought on Jeremy Lynch, someone who has allegedly never played in real professional soccer. So Dhar Mann could potentially be supporting a fraud as well, but then again, I'm no soccer juggling expert or whatever. Speaking of SS Sniper Wolf, he also brought on Brent Rivera, who even before the collab with Dhar Mann created thumbnails like these and made content like this. So yeah, what a moral philosopher. I'm sure Dhar Mann works with splendid people, no doubt in my mind at all. These are just coincidences and some lunatic traveled back in time to create these thumbnails on the people that Dhar Mann collabed with. But anyways, it's kind of sickening how Dhar Mann collabs with these types of people because they just exploit the curiosity of kids who just happen to stumble upon these thumbnails because these creators are wolves in sheep's clothing exploiting curiosity of kids. And that's just really sickening. Dhar Mann exploiting kids is crazy. I'm a little bit tardy to the party, but I just want to bring YouTube into the mix this time. YouTube, no doubt in my mind, was made aware of the Dhar Mann protests and probably stuffed their faces with popcorn while watching all of it unfold. However, my question is, why didn't YouTube do anything about it? Sure, it's because Mr. Man makes too many doubloons for them, but wouldn't it be a huge W for YouTube to do something about it? YouTube's reputation would have actually gone up had they done something about it, but then again, offline behavior off the platform doesn't justify taking action against them, so who knows. But I'm also curious as to why people didn't think YouTube should have done something about it earlier, because, you know, YouTube is actively allowing Dhar Mann and they're facilitating him exploiting their actors, but oh well, that's probably just something I probably wouldn't understand because I'm new to the content creator space. But either way, just to remind everyone, Dhar Mann exploits people for his own personal gain, so I just want to remind people about that. And finally, we get to the scraps of the entire video. Shout out to this guy over here, he kind of helped me point this out as well. Dhar Mann really likes to exploit poverty for some reason. I mean, sure, he invites people like Brent Rivera and FaZe Rug, who flex their money on little kids because they're insecure, drooling blemishes on society. But he really does exploit poverty for his own personal gain. It's kind of sickening. You know those times where you have nothing better to do during class, so you imagine yourself in these scenarios like how you'd stop a gang of robbers by somehow disarming one of them, doing like this whole John Wick scenario, and blasting the others before knocking the last robber out and then everyone clapped? Yeah, Dhar Mann sells these pipes fantasies to little kids, except it's mainly about riches and stuff. He's mainly money oriented and likes to pitch these pipe dreams to little kids, except he just shows off cars and stuff he has, kind of like in here. And also he just shows a lot of like secret millionaire kid makes like, I don't know, $1 bajillion a month. And he's actually secretly a billionaire, but everyone thinks he's a loser. What happens next is shocking, you know, that type of crap. And not only that, he also over dramatizes things and makes it too dramatic that poor people go through every single day. He makes poverty out to be this uncontrollable entity that just wreaks havoc on random unsuspecting people without actually explaining the causes of poverty or doing anything beneficial whatsoever. And on top of that, he normalizes people just bullying people for being poor and then tries to cover it up by saying, "Oh, don't judge a book by its cover. Oh, I'm changing lives, Dhar Mann fam. I'm actually just creating these good messages for these kids to absorb and carry on in everyday life. I am making an impact on my community," and all that other stuff. And the problem with that and all his videos in general is that he just gives the message in a really lame way at best. And at worst, that message doesn't even apply, kind of like how mom forces girl to marry rich or whatever. And whenever he applies it in a lame way, he never really explicitly says don't judge people because they look poor, but instead makes a bunch of videos which kind of normalize bullying poor people because they're poor, and then in the end slaps on a little label by saying, "Oh, this poor person becomes rich." Like in a majority of the videos, he just magically makes them rich with movie magic, and then says, "Oh, don't judge a book by its cover," but in reality, the video message is, don't judge people and don't bully people because eventually they'll be useful to you later on. He never actually digs deeper into the issue than with movie magic, but even then that's kind of a stretch. TLDR, he exploits the topic of poverty without actually doing anything to contribute to the solution, but rather at least normalizes it, if not worse. So I was kind of speedrunning the script because I forgot to write a script. But TLDR, Dhar Mann is still sexist. He exploits poverty, and he also exploits flex tubers who like to, bring on their lack of talent into the videos. And by the way, all of their acting is so bad. They sound so monotone. Like, I know they're YouTubers, so they need to act in a certain way because of the certain types of content they do. But they're just really bad at acting in a studio in general. I mean, look at this clip.
Really hurts, What am I talking about? You wouldn't understand. Everyone loves you.
Sam, you think I don't deal with people hating on me all the time?
You do?
Of course. It comes with the territory. But what I've learned is that...
And yeah, that's really about it. That's all I have to say. Shout out to this guy again. One last shout out to this guy for bringing it up that this guy still exploits poverty, and that's kind of a douchey move. And if you're watching this right now, I'm really sorry that I didn't really dive deep into it because there wasn't really much to talk about other than him just not really talking about poverty in such a way that contributes to a solution, like a potential solution perhaps. But anyways, yeah, that's it. I hope you made a few takeaways from this video. If you really want to debate with me, I'll look at your comment. And if I really think you bring up some good points, then I will reply to you. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you all have a good day. And also, before I forgot to close it off, I just want to talk about my day at school for a little bit. I almost burnt down the chemistry lab, so that was kind of funny. But anyways, yeah, that's really all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!